Greetings dear ones, I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. What a question yet again we say to you. There would be those who say, well, of course not. That's just in the movies. You might be surprised. I would like to give you some information that we have given before in certain ways that might be interesting to you, but it really does talk about the history and the positioning of your planet in the galaxy, the timing of life even. Before I talk about that which is life on other planets or in the galaxy, or perhaps yes or no, were there wars in the galaxy that would resemble what you had in your movies, I want to give you a premise in 3D that truly you will understand. All of you on this planet, even the ones who don't have children, understand about children. When children grow up in a family, they start with a clean slate. It's very disappointing to many parents to find that the children will then go into things that are what would be, let's say, lower consciousness that they were taught. That they would go into pushing and greed and bullying and all the things that little children do, because that is the evolution of consciousness that is common to humans. And it's true, as the children grow up, they go from sweet little things, and then they become a little older and then they are pushing and pulling with their siblings and yelling that he had or she had more or less. Sometimes it's a difficult time, even in the most joyful times, birthdays and Christmas, where they would push and pull. They go into other stages and then they grow up and they become perhaps a little rebellious. Then they have to go into their own world and do the things that they only do because they don't want to be like their parents. This is all growing up. But I want you to take a look at what happens in that which is a cognizing of a consciousness that is then eventually mature. Even in their 20s, some of them are still rebelling, going to school, perhaps even in high school, they start to experience the others who will become bullies, the others who will become perhaps greedy. All of the, you would say, attributes of humanism present themselves in this evolution of consciousness as they grow up. And then finally in their late 20s, perhaps in their early 30s, something else starts to take place. Now they have arrived and can make decisions on their own truly, and some of them become best friends with their parents. So what you see, even when you take a look at the 3D episode called Your Children Growing Up, you get to see an evolution of consciousness. Now I want you to remember that. We have told you in the past that the history of your planet is fairly unique. The actual when did life begin on your planet attribute is a bit unique. Your planet is as old as the galaxy is old. It's not newer or older, and yet there are certain attributes of what happened here that are different. If you take a look at what you have called the origin of the universe, the billions of years to make the planets that are there, you start to see that there is a semblance of order that is in timing of just about everything. Everything is about the same age. But what is different is this. At what point did life start on the multitudes of planets that allow for it? Now let me just stop right there. If you don't believe this, this is now science who have discovered literally thousands of planets that are very much even like Earth, that have the attributes in that what they call the Goldilocks zone, which means that the heat is right, the gravity is right, much like Earth, even some with water and oceans. So you have the attribute right away that you did not have maybe 20 or 30 years ago. There are planets, thousands of them like yours. Planets in general, there are trillions of them. Most suns, the dots in the sky that you see, have planets. And so you have the option and you would say, the opportunity for life to start on all of those just like they did here on your planet, with the same physics, with the same chemistry of the galaxy. There was then the same opportunity for life to begin like it did here. And in that it began, but dear ones, it began very early while Earth was still basically getting started.